Camera's going to go. Okay, it's already recording. So I had a few things to go through. So clearly I need to organize these things better and send an email out before they go on because I'm not getting many people turn up. So that's my learning for the week is I need to be a little bit more planned. I posted in the group and I'll link to this recording in the group too. So some interesting things have been going on this week. When you work with clients, you always learn a lot about them, and sometimes they're right, and sometimes they're more right than other times, if that makes sense. So working with a client this week, he was looking to promote a property investment seminar, and his initial idea, which I went with because it was his plan, was to put up a landing page with simple purchase. It was a $29 offer. I looked at it and I thought, this doesn't have any social proof. And effectively, the way I explained it to him is imagine if you're walking down the road and someone in a long coat came up to you and said, "Hey, would you like to buy my watch?" Now, even if this person was dressed in a formal coat, looked very nicely dressed, so it was a nice looking website and everything else about it was really nice. He was well dressed. You're still not going to buy anything. The simple fact is effectively that's the first person contact, the first time you've seen them. Not unlike a billboard, really. And a billboard, actually, that's a whole different story. But the simple fact is that's the first time you've seen them. And I've just seen someone else, I'm doing a review of another website, trying to do the same thing. You're online, they don't know who you are, they don't know anything about you. The chances of them buying from the first time they see you are very, very slim. Now, I've bought products from a guy the first time I saw him, but the difference was one, he had a really strong guarantee. Two, he had testimonials, and he had not the testimonials that you see that are written down, but actually video testimonials. And I've bought large products because they had video testimonials. The guy who runs school, if you haven't already joined the free school group, check out my free school group, which I talk about SEO, and I give you a 5-hour course on how to do SEO. Just so you understand the game. The guy who started school, Sam Ovens, he had a course which he wanted people to upgrade, or he upgraded people to their senior course for nothing, provided they did a testimonial, a video testimonial. He ended up with 3,000 video testimonials. Can you see how that's a lot different than just putting up a page and then running some ads to it and expecting people to buy? It just doesn't work, or it doesn't work very well. Let's put it that way. So I'll tell you where it went. So where it went from there is I then changed the plan. I changed the structure altogether where we're running it to a webinar. It's a webinar, so it's opt into the webinar, email, first name, address, then the live webinar, in which they go through the background of the founders, they go what they do on the live events, and then at the end of it, they combine 2 tickets together. So you've got effectively an early bird price. So last time I saw him, I think he had about 50 people signed up for the webinar after some marketing kicked in. So then you've got a process where you've got the first touch, you've got the second touch, and then you've got the call to action and the meaningful call to action. Now, what does this mean to SEO? It means a lot of things, because like a lot of people are trying to sell from first touch, and it just doesn't really work. And where success leaves clues is what I did for this guy is I also went and researched everybody in his market as well. Now, the biggest ones in his market, which is a probably really well-known name, is Grant Cardone. And you can do this search anywhere. If you go to what's it called? Facebook Ads Library. That's what it's called. Search Facebook Ads Library. And if you can find the brand, what the brand is, it's advertising. It only works with big brands primarily. You can see the ads that they've been running. So I went back and looked at the ads he'd been running in the past, back into, I think it was July. And the ads have been running since July. And that gave me his whole advertising strategy. What he was doing, he was using really loud images that stood out. These are ads that are still running now. And then he was going to a webinar. Now, he was using a recorded auto webinar that looks like it's live. Quite clever. I find them a little bit deceiving, but that's just my personal preference. It's all pitched as if it's a full live event, but you're actually watching a video. Run through Webinar Jam. So success leaves clues. That's where I started with this. A simple fact is you can go and see what others are doing and emulate them. You don't need to rewrite the book. The book's already there. If we were 10 years back, I'd be saying, no, you can recreate your own book. But now we're not. You've got other people on there that are doing well. What are they doing? I think this is the most logical way of doing things. So next one. So the part that I haven't released into the free group yet is the backlinks update. And backlinks are one of the key elements of making any website rank. It's one of those things that a lot of people don't talk about. It's easier to control, change things on your website, make an update and do that side of it. So a lot of people don't talk about it. And the true fact is the way Google works, it doesn't actually work without backlinks. That's where their algorithm came from. And you can look up their patent that's what it was. Backlinks act as votes. Now, doing some testing over the last 2 months, not all backlinks are equal. And there's quite a misinformation in places. People are selling products which claim this thing, but the facts don't work out. And I'll go through the 100% fail test that I did last month, and I'll tell you why it failed from my assumptions. So tests are always to learn, and this clarified what I thought was an opinion, but actually turned out to be a fact. So that'll come up as well. What else for you? Trust and cold traffic. I want to jump back to this again. Particularly for what happens is I had a guy join the school group, and I asked him what his website was. And I took one look at it, and you've got to use what I call the 3-second rule. If you arrive on a website and it doesn't feel right in that first, really it's half a second. It doesn't matter how much traffic you get to it. If the site's you get thousands and thousands of visitors, and highly unlikely that these people are going to buy anything. I'll give you the short answer about what was on the site. You arrived on the site. The first thing I picked up was the logo was done. It was a grey background on the site, and the logo was done with a white square around it. So you had a white a logo, and then you had the white square, and then you had the grey background. Well, you wouldn't see that on any other company. It just looked shocking. That was step one. So step two was pop-ups. Now, I am a fan of pop-ups used right. I've seen them be used right, and I'll go through an example of that in a minute. But literally, there were 3 pop-ups, I think, which appeared on the site. There was a reviews button over here, and there was something over here. It was like, whoa! It's like it was like a carnival show. So that was the second one. So the third one, I thought I'd give him like the benefit of the doubt, and I'd go and have a look at one of the product pages. So I looked at one of the product pages and realized what he'd done. He'd taken a description from AliExpress, hadn't done anything with it. It was just a set of bullet points describing the product. That's it. And literally copied straight out of AliExpress and pasted into the product. That was it. There was nothing else to it. So that was my third warning bell, without anything else. And then someone else actually reviewed the website within the group as well. And they also pointed out that he was using his contact email address was a Gmail address. Now you can get away with that if it's someone you know already, but if someone comes to the site and it's cold traffic, there's another trust element gone. Um, and really, the key trust elements are reviews. And I'm not saying that you have to get hundreds of reviews, but there's nothing to stop you giving your product away to a few people and asking for a few reviews. Will you get some people who won't do them? Yes. But the only way you're going to get credibility is if you had those type of reviews. And in some cases at Fiverr, you can pay for them. And other services, you can pay for reviews as well. So, look, I'm just talking about how you can get that trust going. Because ideally, you don't want to rank number one in Google. You want what that will bring you, and that will bring you more traffic. But from that traffic, you want it to convert into sales, and that came up from a long time ago. I get clients ranking, and they go, "I'm not making any more. I'm not getting any more leads. I'm not getting any more business." So that's actually what you really want out of it. It's like two steps down the path. Um, so that's what's been going on this week. There's one more thing which I'm working on. I'm working on a custom dashboard, um, particularly for Google Analytics. The new one, GA4, is particularly challenging to understand what's going on. I'm at it every day, and I'm still finding myself having to go and work out where things are, trying to pull data out. Sometimes, like it's like pulling teeth. You need to know where to go. Um, It is a really complicated system, which even look, I went and bought some Udemy courses, and well, they're normally not very good, but at least one of them had some insights. And I don't recommend Udemy courses on the whole because if you want any questions answered, you just don't get them. They're throwing up quick, fast courses, and you're not going to get the answers. I find myself frustrated because they'll just put the information there and there won't be anything else to it. There won't be any depth in it. And many times they have been changing dates. So it's 2024, but the actual videos were made last year. So pretty useless on the whole. Um, so that's what I've got going on. And the reason, like the main reason that I haven't released the backlinks is because I'm still testing more. I've I've had one test finish and I'm in the middle of another one. And as soon as I get through that, I'll have a full-on release to everyone what's been going in the space because even at the agency level, I'm finding out some insights that you wouldn't normally think. So yeah, that's my insights for today. I think I've covered most things on my list. Cold traffic, yes, 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 testing. I am working out also a design because what I've seen, particularly with websites and website designs, there's a love-hate relationship with website designers. And what I mean by this is they can create fantastic looking designs, but they don't necessarily understand performance. Now, if you just want a website that sits in the background and it's what I call as a second touch. So, you pull your business card out at events and you've got your website on there, and people go to your website and have a look at what you're doing. That's a second touch. And you can get away with a lot more. You can get away with a basic website because it's more of a touch points. They've already met you. But first touch needs to be having a clear call to action and the ability to track clearly. It's something I'm working on. Most tracking is incorrect, or actually, incorrect is the wrong word. It does work, but it doesn't track the important things, or it actually gives people the wrong things to do. That seems a bit cryptic, but the best example is you can track when someone clicks on your email address. If your email address is on a page and it's clickable, then someone can click on it. And if if it is on a mobile, it should open up their email address, their form, but it doesn't always. On a desktop, it will give an error because unless you're linked into your Gmail address, it just won't work. but then we track those as conversions within the system. Now, it's not really a conversion because it's a what I call an open loop. It's not a actual something you can do with it. Someone fills out a form, someone calls you, that's something you can actually do with it. And most designers don't quite get it. They offer too many different things for people to do, and that confuses people, so they don't do anything. And so that's where I'm talking to a designer, a friend of mine who does websites, and I'm going to brief him on what I want, and then I'm going to work it so that you don't have to buy a website up front. You can spread the payment out if that's what you need. But he's going to work to my brief, and that's something that you'll be able to follow, and you'll get a high performing website out of it. It will be on WordPress, and it will be a cross between brand, so it'll still look good. His websites do look fantastic, but they're not going to cost you $20,000 either. But also understanding what you want people to do and putting those things in perspective when you're building, when you have your website. So that's a short and quick burst of about 20 minutes. I must talk too fast. I think I like the sound of my own voice too much, to be honest. But it's also the wrap up of my end of my week, because it's Friday morning for me. So it's a share from it. Has anybody got any questions or any thoughts or ideas coming out of what I've gone through?
Uh, yeah, actually, Paul, I had one very pretty simple doubt. I am fairly new to SEO. I am still learning courses. I just wanted to ask one question is that as you're having an enormous experience of around 20 years, what is the one thing that you still find challenging today, which takes a lot of time from you to work on?
Ooh, the one thing. Um, it's I would say the biggest challenge is knowing, well, not knowing, but um, getting into the data. So actually, look, one of my mentors talks about the data is the king, and actually knowing or have an idea what to change and where to change it. So let's put it this way: if you've got a bank account which has got $1 in it, you know how much you've got and you know where you're going. If you've got a website and you've got people coming to it, but you don't know what they're doing and you don't know where they're going, then you don't have any start point. I think actually benchmarking it first and expecting, at least knowing where you start, that's the first step. Knowing that all the measurement and everything is in place. Like I said, mentioned before, having too many options. Um, Also, I think strangely enough, people think they're web designers when they've got no experience. So if you don't have a professional website, it's not going to do anything good for you. Um, so I know you asked for one thing, but those are several things that come up all the time. I think you need to understand the game um, going in, and also on top of that, any paid advertising pretty much is going to fail first time round, and then realizing that as well, that you need to go backwards and forwards. And I'll give you, you talked about time. The biggest thing I've noticed is every time I do any paid advertising with Facebook or anything with Google, and I know I'm going to have expect challenges. So you've got to have the mindset of going in. I'm going to have challenges. I'm going to have to go backwards and forwards with them. There's going to be queries. I'm not going to get the answer. I'm going to have to find the answer. And I think the mindset of understanding that is the big picture. Every time I've worked with clients, it's not um, the website or what they want. It's just changing their mindset to get them to do the things that are going to make the most difference. Um, that's where it is. So SEO is the long game, realizing it's long game. So yeah, there's those elements. Um, I also think this is the online making money thing. There's too many people that put out there, put a website today and make money on Friday. Um, and people get caught up in that and they expect it to happen fast, and it just doesn't. I wish it did, but it just doesn't. Even advertising, first time round, you're going to lose money, like I said, and you need to work out what's going on. I'll give you one more thing in there, Ranjit. So paid advertising, if I'm running a Google Ads campaign, because I've struggled with websites that don't convert, I will now only ever run them to landing pages so I can control those landing pages, so I can test on those landing pages. And that data goes into everything else. But if I can control it, then I can change it and I can shoot new things at the site and run things better. Um, that's always my goal. How can I do things better? How can I be more value to the client? Because if I'm not valued, then what's he paying for? So I'm always trying to get better. And things are changing. Um, the big AI that's coming thing, there's not a tool out there that doesn't have AI tacked on the end of it now. Um, that's another issue. But those are the main things. I think, yeah, tracking, benchmarking, and knowing where you start, and clients' expectation, and managing that mindset and expectation as well. Marketers don't know everything. We're marketing people, not miracle workers. Um, we can run traffic and we can advise and we can tell you where to go, but we still have to test it. And sending traffic and sending people to your website is the ultimate test. What are they going to do? Um, yeah, that would be my main thing. Working down those plans. And actually, if you ever work with anybody, they should start with sort of that conversation is okay, so what's going on now? Let's benchmark everything first. And that way you sit where you are. Um, Also, ranking and Google ranking, there's massive ups and downs all the time. And sometimes people panic. So that's again, we're coming back to mindset again. So those are the two things that I think are the biggest challenges. And as you work on a website, you'll have more and more challenges. I think sometimes people try to do all the technical stuff themselves, and that's a no-no. You'll basically just get frustrated, and you just need to realize you need to find someone to cover the technical that's got those. And there's plenty of sourcing places for people um, that are far better in the technical elements. You have to be the brain and know what you want, and you have to be very clear on what you want. Um, and then you get the technical person to solve the problem you've got. Every time I've done that, it's just worked a whole lot better. Try and stay in what your big picture is and your strength. But, yeah, so that's it for today. I'm going to sign off, and I hope, Ranjit, that's given you an answer. And I will pop this recording into the group and share it out to everyone else. And otherwise, Ranjit, have a good weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next week. See ya.
Sure, even I am. And thank you for all the answers. I actually got quite many insights. I wasn't expecting many of them, but I'm grateful. Thank you very much for
You're very welcome, and I enjoy this stuff. So have a great weekend.
you too.